photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Australian Photographic Prize 2026. We are about to have the judging of our biggest category this year, the birds category, which is really spectacular. This is a new category for us this year. Last year, our wildlife category was giant, and we had so many birds in that category. We spun it out to its own category, and it's our biggest one. So you are in for an absolute treat tonight. Thank you for joining us online. And I'm here on behalf of our competition director, Daniel Bingham, who is in the room tonight, making sure that all the tech is working as well. Behind the scenes, we've got Nathan, who is our intrepid broadcast producer, making sure that everything is working great. And Mel Sinclair is our scribe. So she gets to do the genuinely difficult work of reading out your titles and your context statements. So, by the way, make them as complicated as you like for next year so that she has to read them out. No, I don't mean that, Mel. Okay, first up, let me thank our sponsors, because we wouldn't be anywhere without the contributions that our sponsors make to Australian Photographic Prize. Huge thank you to our major sponsor, Nikon. So Nikon is awarding our overall Australian winner of the competition, Nikon product valued at $5,000, which is spectacular. That's an excellent first prize. If you happen to be the Australian runner-up of the overall competition, you're going to win an AZO CS2731 monitor, and that's valued at $2,000. So thank you, AZO. We really appreciate you. Nikon and Azo, we've been working with them since the inception of the Australian Photographic Prize. Now, also, if you're the international winner, the PPBN, the Professional Photographers Business Network, have a 12-month membership valued at $1,000 for our winning international winner. So that's great. So really good prizes on offer. Also on offer is excellent judging tonight. So we're here to watch the top 31 images in the birds category. And the short example, the short explanation is images showcasing the beauty of birds and character of birds in the world around us. And this is part of our single capture post-production rules as well, which means very minimal editing is allowed. So you can't go and remove incidental items. You can remove like dust spots, and that's pretty much it. So these are very authentic captures. Now, in this session, our expert panel of judges, who I'm going to introduce to you in a minute, they're going to assess every single image. We're going to score each image out of 100. We're going to have a comment for each of them. And in some cases, we'll have a challenge. So if there's a disparity of scores, judges can do an elective challenge where we discuss the image in more detail, and then we rescore. Now, when our session is done tonight, we're going to move to closed door judging, where the panel is going to deliberate to determine the winner from the highest scoring images. Now, if you want to find out who wins and comes second and third in this category, and who the winning international is as well, you need to attend our live awards ceremony on the 13th of August, because even the judges won't know who the winner is. So that's going to be a must do. So mark that on your calendars, 13th of August. Now, before we get to our judges, we're going to have a slideshow. We're going to look at the top 31 images in the birds category. So Mel Sinclair, take it away. Oh man, that's my first time seeing those images. This category is going to be something else. This is going to be we are in for an absolute treat, everyone. I can't wait. Now let's introduce you to our amazing judging team. So we're going to go to all of them in alphabetical order. So I've warned them ahead of time. So Anne Pappalardo knows she's going first. Over to you, Anne.
Thanks, Chris. Oh man is the word. Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Pappalardo, and I am a Brisbane-based bird photographer and official bird nerd. I'm also a judge with the Photographic Society of Queensland, where I have a particular interest in judging the single capture category of nature. Because I'm first cab off the rank, I wanted to say on behalf of all of my fellow judges, congratulations to you all. Bird photography is one of the toughest genres there are. And as Chris mentioned earlier, this is the competition's one of the competition's most entered categories. So if you are sitting there in the top 30, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. If I wasn't sitting in this chair with a microphone in front of me, I'd be sitting in your chair watching with bated breath and eagle eyes and just waiting to see what's going to be shown tonight. We're looking forward to seeing your images. Good luck, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Anne. And yeah, really well said. All right, Charlotte, you get to follow that up now. So over to you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Charlotte Reeves. I'm a pet photographer and an educator. I'm based in Brisbane. I've been photographing pets, mostly dogs, in southeast Queensland for nearly 20 years now. I also run an online pet photography education platform with my business partner, who is also judging tonight, Craig Turner-Bullock. And we provide education through an online membership. We've got courses, private mentoring, and we also run workshops and retreats all around the world. So at home, I have 3 Australian Shepherds, 2 horses, and 8 chickens. And recently I discovered the Merlin Bird ID app. And right now I'm obsessed with identifying all the different species of bird in my local area and adding them to my life list. So I'm looking forward to maybe spotting some familiar species tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, Charlotte. And I'm not going to make you do
Don't.
the talent that you revealed to us earlier. I'm just going to leave that unsaid and everyone's going to wonder. It's much worse now. I haven't said what it is. Chris Helliwell, you're next. Off you go.
Evening, everybody. My name's Chris Halliwell. I'm a nature photographer from Havelock North in North Island of New Zealand. I specialise in nature and bird photography. Have been photographing birds and wildlife for probably, 10, 15 years now. Really looking forward to tonight. And that's me.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Chris didn't mention he's also leading the team that does all of the award systems for New Zealand and at IPP, like the Iris Awards, which are about to kick off, and the Asia Pacific Photography Awards. So an awards nerd and a bird nerd, I think, is the way to go. So excellent work, Chris. Craig Turner-Bullock, also from New Zealand.
Hey everyone, I'm Craig, and I have been a pet photographer for 25 years. As Charlotte said, I work in business with her as education for our Unleashed Education platform. We do tons of feedback, so it's cool to be judging with her tonight. We don't always agree, so that will be interesting as well if we're on the panels together. And I used to be the head keeper at a bird park many years ago now, but I've always loved birds and had pet birds. We had everything from parrots to penguins, vultures, cranes, sunbirds, all shapes and sizes. And I absolutely loved working with the birds, but also speaking to the visitors to the park and educating them about species and the endangered species, especially, and educating them in those areas. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I'm very much looking forward to this category. The previews looked amazing. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Craig. Joe Howell, you're up next.
Hello, I am Jo Howell. I'm a photographer from Melbourne, Australia. I have a pet photography studio, but I also work for Zoos Victoria doing a lot of photography of all different species. And one of the ones that I particularly love photographing is a lot of our conservation species are birds, and going out into the field and photographing those, which can be quite challenging. I have absolutely aged into birds, and I have been known to travel across the world to find a particular weird species that I've seen a photo of or Googled and just gone, ooh, I want to see that one in real life. And I think the longest I've spent on one shoot was 10.5 hours on a bird cliff in Iceland, and I didn't realize that it had been 10.5 hours until I ran out of battery. And yeah, that's me. So I'm really excited to see what you guys have brought to the table, and congratulations on entering. There's some really beautiful stuff in the run through.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. We got a strong New Zealand contingent tonight, including a newcomer to Australian Photographic Prize, Simon Runting.
Kia ora, guys. I'm a crazy bird photographer based in Auckland in New Zealand. I've been a professional photographer since I left school many, many years ago, and I've had a passion for birds since I was a tiny little boy, really, along with fishing. Bird photography is my major passion now. Whenever I'm not working, I'm back on the cameras shooting birds. I do a fair bit of judging locally, and I run workshops, and it's great to see other people's images, and some of the stuff tonight looks absolutely fantastic. I also do penguin monitoring on the local beaches as well. So my life is taken up with birds mostly, a little bit of dog walking too.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon. And if you thought New Zealand was good, Tracy Lund, where are you calling us from, Tracy?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tracy. I'm across the water in the UK. I'm a professional wildlife photographer. Still can't believe I say that. Doing the photography for the past 26 years. But 5 years ago left my job to follow my passion and be a wildlife photographer. To which now I take people around the world to photograph the variety of wildlife that the world has to offer, and birds is a huge part of that. Judge internationally, as well as locally to many associations. Absolutely love it. Love being part of a team and looking at tonight's images. It's going to push us tonight, and I'm really looking forward to the judging that's going ahead. So, because they're amazing images. So, good luck, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. I should introduce myself as well. My name's Chris Anderson. I'm the Director of Judging for the Australian Photographic Prize, and I'm your panel mentor tonight. I'm the only non-bird photographer here, so I photograph people. I'm a performing arts photographer, so headshots, actors, dancers, live theater production, and some illustrative stuff on the side as well. But I'm super, super excited as the Director of Judging to have assembled this panel of incredibly passionate bird photographers. So let's let them loose on some images. We have 7 judges. We're gonna have 5 of them at any one time, and I'm gonna keep moving on and off the panel pretty quickly. So our starting panel, we're gonna have Anne, Charlotte, Craig, Joe, and Tracy will start. Chris and Simon, you guys will be in reserve, and I'll rotate you on soon enough. You guys good to go? Yeah, let's do this. Can we, Mel Sinclair, can we have the first image in the birds category, please?
Okay, welcome. This image is titled Fighting Over Breakfast, and its context statement, a pair of stellar eagles fighting over breakfast at Rosu fishing port on the island of Hokkaido, Japan.
All right, we have an initial score of 81. And I'm going to come to, who can I go to for a comment on this one? We're going to go to Craig. Thank you, Craig.
I think this is a great moment with lots and lots of detail to enjoy in it. I guess just a comment on the title, I can't see their breakfast. And so if you're telling me that they're fighting over breakfast, I would really like to see, I guess, the fish probably that they're fighting over. So that would be really good. And just if there's a different moment in the sequence, maybe where that little eagle behind, I guess it's a younger one, isn't peeking through, might be just clean the outline of the wings there on that second bird.
Excellent. Thanks, Craig. And I could see the comments appearing and people who were keen to add to that. And then you said that and they went away. So everyone's pretty in total agreement. 81 silver award. That is a spectacular way for us to start the category. Remembering to keep judges moving, Chris Helliwell, you're going to come on, and we're going to give you a short break. And let's have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this image has no title, but it does have a context statement. And it's a pied oyster catcher being challenged by a cheeky silver gull.
All right, we have a 78, a highly commended. So congratulations to the photographer on your highly commended. Now, let's get a comment Who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to Joe. Oh, I was going to say Joe Howell, and then her comment button popped up. Joe, over to you.
Hi there. This is a great little moment, and I mean the detail that you've captured in the oyster catcher catching that little fish is just that's where the beauty of this image is. To help it a little bit higher, I understand that the silver gull adds context to the image, but the way that it's cut off, it would have been greater if we could have had the entire gull in that shot to complete the story. And also the legs on that oyster catcher seem a little bit washed out. I'm not sure if that's the specific bird or whether or not that's something that's happened in post, but a little bit more punch in those legs would have really helped separate them from the background. But congratulations, a really beautiful image.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Simon, let's bring you onto the panel. And Charlotte, we're going to give you a short break and we'll have our next image, Mel.
Okay, the image is titled Egret Joust, and there's no context statement.
All right, we have a 79, highly commended. Excellent work. So congrats to the photographer for that. Craig Turner Bullock, you had some feedback on this image.
Yeah, a fantastic moment. Really love this, this jousting between the two of them. A couple of things. You've handled the light really well in terms of not blowing out the highlights in this difficult lighting situation. But I think that you may have pulled them back a little bit far, so the birds are looking a little muddy. And looking at the water, it's on quite an angle, so just a rotation to straighten it out would be useful too.
Awesome. Excellent feedback. All right, let's give, after that little bit of feedback, you can have a little break, Craig, and we're going to bring Anne back onto the panel. And Mel, can we have our next image, please?
Okay, this image is titled Nature's Bush Valets, and its context statement, Red-billed oxpeckers, Kruger National Park, South Africa.
All right, we have a 79, a highly commended. Again, excellent work, photographer. That's fabulous. Let's go to Anne for a comment, please. Just going for that mute button. You can do it, Anne. Although if you can't, no, you can't. So Simon Runting is going to come in and save the day with the comment.
Yeah, I quite like this image. The symmetry is quite nice. I found the bit of grass a little bit distracting, but you can't do much about that. The thing that pulled it down for me was I didn't think the eyes of the birds, either of the birds, were particularly sharp. The fur on the back of the head of the animal is, but I didn't think the eyes were particularly sharp. But yeah, I love the orange either side though. It's quite a cool picture.
Excellent. Thank you, Simon. All right, Joe Howell, you can have a short break, and let's bring Charlotte back on, and we'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this image is titled Breakfast Time, and its context, stellar eels searching for breakfast at Rosu fishing port on the island of Hokkaido, Japan.
Right. Well, we have an initial score of 83, and we have scores, quite a variance of scores. Simon is up in the 90s range. And when you key in a score like 90, you're pretty excited about an image. Simon, do you want to take the challenge?
Yes, I do. I think this is an absolutely cracking image. I mean, it's looking for breakfast. It looks like the actual photographer is breakfast. That thing is flying towards you. I would have loved to have taken this. It's got great color, the exposure's superb, it's nice and sharp. I think it's a cracking image, and I think everybody else should have a really good look at that.
All right, thanks, Simon. Charlotte, you saw this a little bit differently.
Yeah, I scored it a 77, just mainly for a couple of little technical things in the edit. So I feel the image is a little bit cool overall, tends to have a bit of a blue color cast. Obviously snow is a little bit cooler, but I feel it could be a little bit more neutral in color cast. And then there's a border at the top, about a third of the way down, between the snow and what looks like maybe water in the background. And just looking closely there appears to be some perhaps masking issues or fringing along that border there. So that was the reason that I was at 77. I think it's a great moment. I might be happy to come up. Convince me.
Excellent. Thank you, Charlotte. I'm going to go to Tracy, whose score is right in the middle on 83.
Yeah, as I say, it's an impactful image. I love that snow and the claw, that claw coming through. And I say the frontal end, the beak being in sharp. For me, yeah, Charlotte's picked up the points that's prevented me from going any higher. It's mainly the distraction, especially over the shoulder of the Steller Eagle, like the purple in the snow and the fringing around the whole entire edge between the water and the ice. It's really distracting and drawing my eyes away from the center point of focus. But I am listening.
All right, thanks, Tracy. Simon, back to you.
Yeah, I think that's just the drop off in the background, that change of color. I don't think it detracts from the image at all. I mean, that is a powerful image of a big eagle marching straight towards you. I think it's if I was there, I'd have been pretty happy with that. Really happy.
All right, Simon, you're going to keep your score at 92, and everyone else, having listened to the debate and reevaluated, please rescore. And we've moved up 1 point to silver. So congratulations to the entrant. You'll hear every panel chair say this. Every point counts. Every point is important. Sometimes that can make all the difference. So excellent to see you guys moving around as a team. That's really cool. Tracy, you can have a short break, and let's bring Craig Turner Bullock back onto the panel. And Mel Sinclair, next image, please.
Hey, this image is titled Wood Duck, and its context, wood ducks splashing around at the local dam.
Now, while our judges are having a look at this, at home, you get YouTube's resolution. Our judges can zoom into 100% of the image that the entrant has submitted. They can't zoom into 400% and do megapixel peeping, but they can zoom into 100 so they can see the image in its full glory. And often that can reveal things that you don't get to see when you're looking at this on Zoom. We have very consistent scoring from our judges, 77 highly commended. Anne, what do you see in this image?
Yay, I worked my mute today. What works really well in this image is the beautiful symmetry provided by the bird. The photographer has got down low and the bird helpfully, and they never do this, the bird has helpfully faced that photographer front on. So in many ways, the photographer has made their own luck by positioning themselves well, and they've been rewarded with this glorious front on image of the wood duck. Just to elevate it, it is a tiny bit soft through both the face, the body, and the wings. Shutter speed, an increase in shutter speed is going to help you along there, but you clearly have an eye for photographing and understanding the behavior of these birds. Well done. Keep going.
Excellent. Thank you, Anne. Chris Helliwell, you can have a short break, and we're going to bring Joe back onto the panel, and Mel Sinclair. Next image, please.
This image is titled Calling, and it's an Australasian data Cecil. It's an Australasian data Cecil Hoskins Reserve, Wingecarribee River, New South Wales.
Ooh, we have a 79, highly commended. Congratulations to the photographer on your highly commended. Now, Craig Turner Bullock is in he's scored at 82, which means he's in the silver range. He's in a different range, and he can do an elective challenge, which he is taking. It's so close, Craig. Let's go.
And that's why I think we should challenge this and have a quick chat about it. I think we definitely should be looking at the silvers for this one. The angle of the bird, the moment with the mouth open, the low angle that this is captured at fully immerses us into the moment. And then you've got all that rain and everything in the background. So it adds atmosphere to the image. The silhouette of the bird is nice and clean. So yeah, I'd love to see this rewarded with a silver.
Brilliant. Thanks, Craig. Simon, you had this just sneaking into highly commended.
Yeah, I just felt it as maybe a little bit overworked. I love the actual the moment captured, and I would like to see perhaps a little bit more of the water in the bottom part of the frame. But it just looks a bit too noisy and overworked around the head of the bird. But that's what dropped it for me. But a great moment and quite a nice angle.
All right, thanks, Simon. I'm gonna go to now. Joe Howell, excellent. Like 1 point below the average there.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because I was umming and ahhing about where I sat this within the scoring range. It's got some really beautiful elements to it that Craig's mentioned, but there are a few technical issues with it that I'm finding are pulling me down. There appears to be some ghosting around the beak. Especially the bottom part of the beak, which is open, and around the rock that travels into the tail, where we've lost a lot of detail underneath of that tail. And there's some quite heavy noise through that section of the image, like speckles that are kind of just when you see them, you can't unsee them. But I really do appreciate, the thing that I love about this image is not just the pose, but the way that we're seeing the water flow over that dam or whatever it's sitting on the edge of, it's quite a nice little detail that tells us more about its space. So I am listening.
Thanks, Joe. Craig, back to you.
Well, I've heard lots of comments about how you love an image and how good the moment is. And look, yes, there are some technicals. It is noisy. There is a little bit of haloing, and I wonder if maybe there's been a bit of moisture on the lens that's made that kind of indistinct look around the beak. But we're looking at the moment here, and I think that we're really in this moment with this bird. The photographer has done such a great job of bringing us into this bird's world. And I think that that in itself fulfills the criteria for silver, as it has that impact when you look at the image initially.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig. You can leave your score at 82. All other judges, please rescore now. And we've moved to an 80 silver award. Excellent work, team. And there's a photographer really excited about that out in the world there. So well done. All right, let's keep the judges moving around. All right, Simon, you can have a short break. And Tracy, you're back on. And Mel, let's have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this one is Reflection of Still Waters, and our context statement, Great Egret, Leschenschlort Estuary, Western Australia. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
Challenging, commenting. Oh yeah? It's really
All right, we have a 79, a highly commended, which is an excellent result. We also have two judges on 82. It was a bit of a race. I'm watching their faces. Joe Howell puts her hand up. Joe's going to challenge this. Take it away, Joe.
This image has immediate impact when it's turned around. It's somewhat of a different pose where you can't see the full beak of the egret, but it's telling you a lot about its behavior, and it's got such a beautiful graphic nature to it with the way that we've got the ripples in the water coming out from where all the action is in the center. I think I can preempt a couple of the reasons why people probably haven't quite moved up into the same category, but I'm happy to hear what people have to say. But I really do believe that this, it's just a beautifully serene image that feels strong at the same time. So I think we should have a little chat and hopefully get this up a little higher.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. I might go to Anne. You were right in the middle of the highly commended range.
Yeah, Joe, good on you for challenging, and I can understand why the image does have excellent immediate impact. I am on 77, and the reason I set the image there is just the lack of detail in the black behind the bird. It's very solid and very dark, whereas we do have a little bit of detail in the water in the foreground. And I just thought, do we have it's almost like a leg in each camp there. I'd either think it would be stronger all black, or just allow a little bit more detail into the black in the rear. And the other thing was just there is a loss of feather detail through the bird itself, through the head and just through the back of the bird. And those were the two things really that were holding me back, Joe.
All right. Thanks, Anne. Let's go to Charlotte. You were in support of this up in silver.
Yeah, I think like Joe, this just had an immediate impact as soon as I saw it. I really love the starkness of it, and I don't actually mind that there's just a teeny little bit of detail in the water and a teeny bit of detail in the background, because I think that that helps to ground the image, but it really helps to push the viewer's attention towards the bird and towards all those amazing ripples that are going on in the center there. It just feels very serene. It just has a gorgeous, serene feeling about it that I'm really enjoying.
Thanks, Charlotte. All right, Joe, back to you.
Yep. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not hearing anything that's too bad. I feel like we're going into the silver category. No, we're not going up into gold. So I think we can forgive a few things if you're looking at an image that has some difference and some impact and tells you a little bit about where this bird lives as well. As far as the blacks, I mean, it looks like a reasonably, it's a choice to have quite a dark, stark background. I'm still seeing a little bit of the ripples disappearing up into the background, so it doesn't feel like it's just stuck on, and that the water ripples finish at the reflections. Yes, it doesn't match what's down the front, but that's okay. I feel like it draws you up in towards the bird and stops you from going past it. Feather detail. Whitebirds are tough. Getting detail, depending on the angle that light is hitting those feathers, it can be really hard to even see any detail in there. And I mean, we're looking at this, the light, it's actually quite flat light. So unless it's directional, which is, you're not going to see a lot of detail, but we do see detail in those beautiful feathers that I think is their breeding plumage and around the little boots that it's got on, and you're getting detail in that beak and in those eyes. And I think it's just I'm not asking for gold, I'm just asking for silver. I think it really should be rewarded, so let's go.
All right, thanks, Joe. Joe, you're going to leave your score at 82. Everyone else can rescore now, please. We move to 81, silver award. Excellent work, team. And all judges moving into silver for that one. So fantastic. Anne, you've been judging for a little while. Let's give you a break. And Chris, bring you back on. And Mel, next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Contested, and the context is Bald Eagles, Kutsi Matine, Grizzly Sanctuary, British Columbia, Canada.
We have a score of 78, a highly commended. We all happy with that? All right, we're going to go to, got a couple of people who want to make a comment on this, and I'm going to go to Tracy. So Tracy, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great action shot. I commend the photographer. I think the composition of the image has been handled really well, given the length of those wings. Overall, yeah, I find the birds themselves a little bit soft in focus, so a higher shutter speed would have helped really capture that detail. I mean, just the colours, I think, have also been handled really well. So, yeah, well done on a highly commended image there.
Excellent. Thanks, Tracy. And Charlotte, we're going to give you a short break and bring Simon back onto the panel. We'll have our next image, please, Mel.
The title of this image is Wait Your Turn, and the context, Little Corellas, Perth, Western Australia.
All right, here we go. We have an 86, a silver with distinction, which is an excellent result. But we also have Craig on 93 in the gold, and he is so keen to challenge. Take it away, Craig.
It's not a silver distinction if I have anything to do with it. This is just fantastic. This has impact. It has technical precision. There is detail all through those whites. The moment, the tension in that bird that's almost about to lose control of that prime spot on the post, in those feet, this other one swooping in with them outstretched, ready to land. And they're going to go at each other with those vicious, vicious Corella beaks. The color palette is really sympathetic in the background to the birds. This is just fantastic. Why are we not in gold, guys?
All right, thanks, Craig. Chris Helliwell is going to answer that question. Chris, you are on silver with this one.
Yeah, I was on 82, and I'm listening. I suppose I love the action. I love the moment. What held me back going, I suppose, higher at this stage, but I am listening. The bird on the left, the top of the wings, there just seems to be something odd about it, and it is really drawing my attention. There's some black halos around the feathers there, especially at the tips. And yeah, it is drawing my attention away from the two. And the bird on the left, the bird on the right is just it's a fraction. The bird on the left is a fraction sharper. And when I look at the two, I'm drawn to the one that's obviously not as sharp. But I'm listening.
All right, thanks, Chris. Keeping the Kiwi flavor, Simon, your score on 85 is really close to the average. You got to come off mute, Simon. That's one. He's not doing it. Hey, Simon, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah.
Excellent. There you go. Cool.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, beautiful colors, lovely image, and I think just that's the slightly wonky horizon with that white line at the bottom half of the bottom third of the frame, and again with that top left with the feathers is just a little bit odd, and probably just a bit too tight on the edge of the frame. Maybe it was cropped a bit, and that's why the post and the actual line is maybe slightly out, but yeah, no, beautiful image, and I love the way he's held the exposure and kept the color true to the bird as well.
Thanks, Simon. And Craig, back to you.
Yeah, again, I'm hearing lots of positives in the judges' comments there, and a few little niggly negatives. I feel that fringing is just a consequence of the light, so I don't think that we can really penalize that in a category that is pretty purist in what the photographer is able to do in their edit. The tightness of it actually works in its favor, in my opinion, because it's adding tension to the frame, and you get that tension in what the birds are doing and their behavior. look, I'm usually a stickler for a wonky horizon. Charlotte can attest to that, but it's so soft and it's placed in such a nice area of the image low down there, and it's not intersecting awkwardly with the birds. That really doesn't bother me at all. I would ask you to look at this again, guys, and look at the impact of the image, look at the behavior of the birds that is captured, look at the emotional qualities that you have in here as well. I don't think I've seen an image like this of Corellas that is this good. And so I believe it's absolutely deserving of a gold, and I think we should be scoring this higher.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig. Craig, you're going to leave your score at 93. All other judges, please rescore. We've moved up a couple of points to an 88, a very solid silver with distinction. And as we say, every point counts. It's very important. Excellent work, team. Craig, you can have a little break after that, and we'll bring Anne back to the panel. And Mel Sinclair, next image, please.
The title of this image is Family Love. And the context statement, this image frames the great crested grebes caring for their chicks.
And we have a 79, a highly commended. Go on. Yeah, good job, Anne. Anne's on 88. Anne's put this into the silver with distinction range, which means we really should have a chat about it. Anne, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, the what's working really well in this image is simply the beautiful moment captured here. We've got the parent, mum on the left-hand side with the 3 babies, bird on the right-hand side leaning forward to feed them. There's gorgeous light, beautiful side light. There's bokeh. It's well cropped, it's balanced, and I think it's one of those images where I feel we should reward the photographer for 1, right place, right time, 2, fantastic positioning, and 3, the wherewithal to understand what's happening here, to understand the behavior and be in the right position to capture the image, right settings too, with the birds beautifully separated from the background, which I think adds a lot to the image. So would love to hear what my other judges think.
Thanks, Anne. Simon, you were on the lower end of this, just on highly commended.
Yeah, again, I agree with you. It's beautiful light and a beautiful moment, but you get beautiful moments with these birds if you're in the right spot every 2 minutes. They've got a lot of feeding to do with these 3 hungry mouths. The thing that just pulled it back from me was that the main bird is the bird for me on the right-hand side with the food, with the fish, and that's not sharp, nor is the chick it's actually going to feed it to. The mum on the left, lovely, beautiful, but the dad on the right is just out too much for me to pull it up.
All right, thanks, Simon. Joe, you were right on the average with 79.
Yeah, when this turned around, I really wanted to love it for all of the mentions that Anne has said, and yes, it's great, but also, as was just mentioned, the real subject, I mean, it just is so small, and I understand people wanting to separate the subject from the background by using a really shallow depth of field, but this is one time where an image really could have benefited from that slightly larger depth of field to give us all the subjects in focus. I'm also finding that my eye is drawn very heavily to the left of the frame. There's a color shift that runs right along the border where there's a sort of blue area in the beautiful milky background that just keeps pulling me out towards that way, which is where the sharp bird is. So I'm just getting drawn out of the frame, but beautiful moment. I'm really sad I can't go a little higher with this.
Thanks, Joe, and back to you.
Yeah, Joe and Simon, thanks so much for your feedback. Joe, starting with you, yeah, I do see the lighter part on the left-hand side of the image, but I think overall in a single capture image that was always going to be there. I don't find it too much of a distraction, and in fact my eye sits happily on the three juveniles and the mum. Sharpness, yep, could be improved by dad on the right hand side. But again, I feel that beautiful moment captured, beautiful emotion represented here. Have another look and see if you can't move past the issues that we've discussed and move it up a couple of points for the photographer.
Excellent. Thank you. And you're going to leave your score on 88. All other judges, please rescore. And we've held tight at 79, highly committed. Excellent discussion, everyone. And that's one of the things about having such an excellent panel of experts is every single image we're going to have a little bit of discussion and a little bit of education. So that's worth its weight in gold for folks in the audience. All right, Joe Howell, you can have a short break, and we're going to bring Charlotte back onto the panel, and we'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this image is titled Inversion, and its context, fry a bird feeding on a banana flower, Cairns, Australia.
Oh, this is fun. I can watch the scores as they're coming in, everyone. It's excellent. This is an 84 silver award. We have a couple of judges who can possibly challenge, including Tracy, on a 97 gold with distinction. So this is a pretty big deal. We may well go to every judge to have a chat about this. So get ready, judges. Tracy, take it away.
Yeah, I just love the impact of this image. You keep wanting to stand on go underneath and look, turn yourself upside down to look at it, but zooming in, the detail on that bird is just absolutely stunning. I mean, the eye, the feather detail around the beak, and compositionally, yeah, I think the photographer's done an amazing job in capturing such an unusual image. It is impactful. It makes you want to know more and see more, and just looking around it, the detail all down the plant, the bird, the colours. It, to me, it is up there. It's a benchmark. It's an excellence. I can't find anything wrong with it, in a sense that it's why I've put it in gold with distinction. So yeah, I'm interested to see what my fellow judges have seen.
Thank you, Tracy. Charlotte, you had this in silver, which is still a really good result.
I didn't think I'd be the lowest score on this one, honestly. So I was at 82. I do feel like I perhaps have underscored it slightly. I do really enjoy the fact that it's so different and quirky, being upside down. I think what held me back from putting it any higher was that very weird kind of bluish green color, which is right down near the head, which I keep finding myself drifting off to that left hand edge rather than staying with all that lovely detail around the eye. I also find that the lightest part of the image, aside from that, tends to be the bottom of the bird, which is actually at the top of the image. So my eyes keep drifting away from the focal point to these lighter areas instead of staying there and enjoying that detail. I've definitely got a lot to hear from the rest of you, though, about this, to encourage me to come up a little higher.
All right, thanks, Charlotte. As I said, I'm going to go to everyone for a quick comment. Chris Halliwell, you were in silver as well.
I was at 83. And again, yeah, I like the quirkiness. I like the upside down part of it. I like the symmetry between sort of the fruit and the bird as well. But as been said, like those light bits just keep drawing my attention away, especially the bit that's brightest to the left. It really draws my attention away from the subject. But I love the detail that's on there on the beak and the flower and everything else like that. It's just, yeah, that's what's holding me back, but I'm listening.
All right, thanks, Chris. Simon, you were in silver with distinction on this one.
Yeah, I was on 86. Yeah, it's a lovely image, and it's just the tightness of the crop, the lack of space on the left hand side just pulled it down for me. But I hear what everybody else is saying about the coloured patch, that is a little bit distracting. But I love the lighter area around the bird's head. That just makes it absolutely pop, and the colours look, to me, absolutely bang on true, and it's a super sharp image. But it's just that tightness on the left hand side just pulled it down for me a little bit.
Thanks, Simon. Anne, you were pretty close to the average as well.
Tracy put me down for close crop as well too. I was wondering whether it could just have a fraction more breathing room, but I'm definitely listening, and to help you along, just that beautiful eye with the catch light, which always brings these bird images to life. I just wanted to raise that as a positive for this image.
Thanks, Anne. Tracy, back to you.
Yeah, I don't think I heard anything negative, personally. Thank you, judges. With regards the tightness of the crop, I think it's done perfectly well. Any larger, I think you'd be drawn away from the plant itself and the bird. So I think the crop has been handled perfectly well to draw you in and have that impact. It gives you the impact. With regards the different colorations, the lighter colors in the background, yes, your eyes are drawn around from the bird, the colours in the background to the lightness of the top of the bird. It's drawing you around the image, so you're seeing every single bit that the photographer wants you to see. And like it's already mentioned, the lightness of the colour at the bottom, it's then also highlighting the bird. It's taking you into that the most beautiful part of the bird and the details. So I think it's helped framing that image as well. The symmetry was already being mentioned as being a positive, positive detail comments. But yeah, I just think it's absolutely stunning. The catch lights, colours. Yeah, I love the tightness of the crop. I think we would have lost the impact if it had been any much of a larger image. So come on, judges, come with me.
All right, thanks, Tracy. You're going to leave your score at a very respectable 97. All other judges, please rescore now. And we move to an 89, a silver with distinction. Excellent movement.
Thank you.
Movement from all judges as well, which is great to hear on the challenge. So excellent work, team. And congratulations to the entrant on your very high silver with distinction. Tracy, not a reflection on your challenge, I promise, but you're going to have a little break from judging. It was a great challenge. And Craig, you're back on to the panel. We'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Yeah, the title of this image is Ibis v Kite, and our context: a straw-necked ibis drops its catch while being pursued by a black kite.
Scores, please, judges. All right, we have an 81, a silver award. Excellent. We got 3 judges in that silver range, so that's very well deserved. Who can I go to for a comment on this one? I'm going to go to Chris Halliwell. Actually, Chris, you were on 83. Oh, this is pretty strong silver.
I was, yeah. I scored this 83. Look, I love I suppose the action and the triangle that the two birds and the actual fish make. It draws you into the image, and it's really attractive. You've got fast shutter speed. You've captured the action very, very nicely. What held me back, and I was sort of drawn away from, is the water at the bottom tends to be flowing one direction or downhill, and that's a little bit off-putting. and the colors in the background just seem a little mute, but that could be this with the setting what it was. But yeah, well done to the photographer. Great moment captured.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Chris, you're going to have a break now. And we're going to bring, who are we bringing back? Joe Howell, you're back on the panel. And Mel, next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Chinstrap Penguins Antarctica, and there is no provided context statement.
We have an initial score of 86, silver with distinction, and Craig has wasted 0 time pressing his challenge button. Go for it, Craig.
Yeah, I think we should just spend a little bit more time with this, because I think there's some subtle things in this image that could easily be missed that are worth looking at again and reassessing. So I think, first of all, the image has immediate impact. I think the light in this is fantastic. The dramatic kind of stormy sky works beautifully with that icy tone in the image. But what I really like when I had a closer look at 100% is that you can see all of these feathers in the water, which made me think, oh, I wonder if they're molting. And then you can actually see just that one bird on its own on the right-hand side has still got those little specks of feathers there, that these birds are clearly just kind of going through the molt and coming out the other side. So as a image showing the life of these birds, I thought that that was really well captured and well seen, and worth definitely taking this up into gold. It takes it up, shows more of the bird's life and the behavior, the context of the feathers in the water, all of that stuff, I think, for me, just elevate it a bit further. So yeah.
Thanks, Craig. Joe, you were in silver on this one.
Yeah, I do love the detail and the lighting, and I agree on that. They've handled across the iceberg particularly well. However, I think there's too much in this frame. I think the little birds get a little overwhelmed, and not in a positive way. I agree that yes, it's nice to see some of the the feathers in the water, but there's also a lot of gunk in the water, which I just think takes a little bit of the beauty away from this scene. And to me, I would have loved to have seen this, and you could leave those in if you wanted, as a more square crop. Just having the land on either side, I don't think adds anything. And there's a beautiful repetition of shape between the cloud above the penguins and the iceberg, the center part of the iceberg that they're sitting on, that I think if you remove the sides, it just, those lines then draw you right up into those penguins with their little umbrella cloud. I just think less is more in this, but I'm listening. It's beautiful. I mean, the lighting is just lovely.
Thanks, Joe. Simon, you weren't far off of gold with this one.
Yeah, pretty much what Joe says, really. I mean, I did exactly the same as she did. I put my hands up and cropped it slightly squarer, and the image then just sort of jumped straight out at you, really. Yeah, that's the thing that holding me back on that one. But I don't think it's feathers in it. It looks more like gook floating around to me. But yeah, no, the drama and the lighting is what pulls this, and the color in the ice is absolutely beautiful. But I just don't like the cropping.
All right, thanks, Simon. Craig, back to you.
I think the crop in this is one of its strengths. I think seeing the environment, seeing those rocky things in the distance, all showcases the life of these birds. I think if we look at this image, especially in the context of a purist kind of wildlife nature category that we're judging here today, this tells us about the life of these animals and where they live. It's not about being a beautiful image of penguins. We see that a lot. This is a more realistic. Simon, if you zoom in and look at that at 100%, that is feathers all across that waterline. Yes, there's lots of guano everywhere as well, and even that I don't mind. I actually quite like that red spot of it on the left of the ice there. The lighting has been handled fantastically. There is detail in all of that ice. It would have been so easy to have blown that out in the exposure. The shape of the cloud, I think, again, if you crop this any further and you make it a square, you're going to lose that those sloping lines, especially on that left-hand side, that perfectly mirror that cloud shape. So from a technical point of view, from an impact point of view, from a bird's behavior and life cycle point of view, this ticks all the boxes for me. And I would love to see some of you coming up into gold with me.
All right, thanks, Craig. Craig, you're going to hold your score at 91. All other judges can rescore now, please. And we moved up 2 points to an 88, silver with distinction, right in the middle of silver with distinction. So excellent and brilliant work from all of our judges on that one. So thank you for that commentary. Let's give Simon a short break. And who are we bringing back to the panel? It's going to be Tracy Lund. So we'll bring back Tracy and we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Scarlet Macaw, and its context, Scarlet Macaw, the Amazon, Ecuador.
And we have an 82, a silver award. So congratulations to the entrant on their 82. However, once again, if Craig has his way, it won't be a silver for long. Craig, take it away.
Yeah, I'm not asking to get you guys to move much further. I'm in silver distinction at 88. I think that this could be easily overlooked because we see macaws often, but we don't see macaws in the wild in this context very often. It's pretty rare to have scarlet macaws in the wild now. And I just love these deep greens coming out of the darkness, that diagonal of the branch, and then that vibrancy of the bird placed bang in the center. It's the branch and the shadow make it look like an X marks the spot, and the bird is right in the target center of that. So for me, this absolutely has a huge impact. I love the cool greens and the warm tones of the bird. Like, there's so much to love about this. So yeah, I'd love to see it in silver distinction range.
Thank you, Craig. Anne, you saw this a little bit differently.
Craig, I'm so sorry. I'm right at the other end on 74. The black in the leaves in the background of the image just looked unnatural to me, and I found it, look, I'm a big lover of a neutral, beautiful, clean background, but this for me felt incongruous with the brightness of the bird, and just the noise through the bird. I have to say I did find distracting.
Thanks, Anne. We've got, actually, you know what? We got everyone wants to comment on this one. Tracy's even pushed her challenge button just to be really crazy. Charlotte, let's come to you next for a comment.
Okay. So I'm sitting on 83, which is really close to where the score ended up. When I initially saw this image, I was ready and willing to go way up, way into gold, because of that amazing initial impact, that color, that gorgeous color standing out against all that darkness. I feel like it really portrays the sort of environment that this bird lives in, with shafts of sunlight coming through and illuminating things in the canopy. Unfortunately, when I zoomed in, I did notice that there was a bit of a lack of detail in the feathers. It's a bit of noise, but it's also perhaps a focus issue. I would love to see so much more texture and detail in those feathers. How much I'm willing to forgive that because of this amazing impact, I'm still undecided about. So yes, that's where I'm at on this one.
All right, thanks, Charlotte. Tracy, did you have anything you want to add, or did Charlotte cover it?
She covered most of it. For me, I love the light that's being captured on the bird. It really does help that bird stand out. I love the green leaves coming out of the background, but I do find there's too much darkness there, so maybe a tighter crop would have maybe helped. But I agree with Charlotte on the lack of detail. When you zoom in, it's under a canopy, so it's going to be low light, and everything like. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. Craig, back to you.
Okay, so yes, it's noisy, but I would like to know how you could capture this with more detail and less noise in this conditions, unless you were using a light, which you probably wouldn't want to be doing. So I can forgive that. It is noise, I believe, and not a focus issue, because if you look at the eye and the beak of the bird, that is definitely the sharpest area in the image. So I'm allowing for the noise because of the difficulty of the light in this location. And that's why I haven't taken it into gold. I love all of the crop, the combination of that darkness and those leaves coming out. It feels to me like it's from the, you know, it's emerging from the darkness, as you would expect for this like super vibrant color, and the life of this image is all in that center part. So for me, that all works. I don't think the black is unnatural because of that. I think that's quite natural that the light fall off into those thick undergrowth of those bushes and those trees is very sudden. It's a sudden fall off. So I'm forgiving that too. I think this is an image that goes beyond taking a record shot of a bird in the wild and puts this into the realms of fine art bird photography. And I think that we should be rewarding that with a silver with distinction.
Thanks, Craig. You're going to leave your score at 88. Everyone else rescore now, please. We moved 1 point to an 83, an even more solid silver award. So excellent work again, team. Now, we're going to have a little short break because it is actually really hard work judging. It is stressful. The adrenaline is running. When you're going to go press that challenge button, it's a lot. So we're going to give our judges a couple of minutes to have a break, and we'll get some words from our sponsors, and we'll see you back here soon.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. discover living, breathing colour.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the judging of the birds category for the 2026 Australian Photographic Prize with this amazing panel of judges. Got to tell you, this is not a serious panel. There's a lot of banter going on when we're not on camera, and then when your images come up, they lock in, and there's some excellent advice being given out. So it's just a privilege to have all of you here for this. We're gonna get going again, and I'm gonna take you off the panel, and we're gonna bring Chris Halliwell back on. And we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Great Egret Mandurah Estuary, and there is no title to this image.
Okay, we have an initial score of 82. We've got a couple of judges up in the silver with distinction range, which means we really should have a chat about it. So you guys on SD, who's challenging this? I'm going to give you the evil eye until one of you does. Oh, you both pressed your buttons. I'm going to go with Chris Halliwell, who's a little bit higher on 87. Chris, all yours.
Yeah, look, I think the photographer's done really well here. So there's beautiful lighting. You zoom in and there is just detail in all of those whites. They've been handled really nicely. The eye is sharp. You've got a beautiful little catch light there on the eye as well. You sort of come down and then you've got that, a full reflection. The reflection itself is stunning. There's, you've got a couple of lines in the background, but none of them are dissecting the actual subject itself. You've even got the mirroring of that lines with around the head and the wings. You've got outstretched, wings. You've got the feathers, beautiful. I really can't actually see anything to hold it back. So I'd love to see everyone coming up to silver with distinction.
Thanks, Chris. Tracy, you're on the other end of this one.
Yeah, I was down at 78 in the highly commended. I love the light that's been captured. I commend the photographer. The detail that has been captured coming through those feathers is beautiful. But I find that the bird, especially from the neck up to the beak, it is out of focus for me. It's not sharp enough, no detail there. I feel the center point of focus is possibly on the closest wing. I love the reflection. Overall, I just find it's dipping down to the left. I'm tilting to the left as well, so maybe it could have been straightened up a little bit. And I do find the brightness of the sky at the top drawing me up to the top of the image. So I'm not sure whether if that was cropped out, it would have made it a bit more impactful. But I am listening.
All right, thanks, Tracy. We had two judges on the high end, two on the low end, and Joe, you were right smack in the middle. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I gave it a silver just for that beautiful light, and I love how the shadow falls through the tail and shows off the the feathers that are flying off behind. But I agree with everything that Tracy had to say.
All right, excellent. Chris, let's come back to you for a wrap up.
So just to, I suppose, address a couple of the points. I don't mind the lightness at the top. I think it's mirrored by the lightness at the bottom as well. So you've got a sort of a symmetry there in the image. Again, the head that we're seeing is actually in shadow, but the light has just caught the eye, and you can see the pupil in that eye. So yeah, I mean, yes, it'd be nice to see a little bit more detail on the neck there, but it's in shadow. So that doesn't bother me too much. It's got a lovely room to fly into, fly out of. Yeah, we're not asking. We're on 82. I think this deserves a little bit more and to go up to silver distinction.
All right, thanks, Chris. You're going to lock your score at 87, and all other judges rescore now, please. And we have stayed put on 82, a silver award, but some excellent discussion. So thank you, everyone. Charlotte, we're going to give you a break. And Simon, you're back on the panel, and we'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this image is titled Parent of the Year, and its context, the image frames the family of the great crested grebes.
All right, we have an 81 silver award as an initial score. Once again, we've got two judges up in the silver with distinction range, and I'm going to look at you until one of you challenges with your challenge button because of your keenness for this one that you believe is a silver with distinction. And then I'm just going to pick on one of you, but I don't have to because Chris Helliwell is challenging on 87.
Yeah, look, I'm at 87 with silver distinction here. Again, the photographer has captured this, I suppose, intimate moment. They're down low, beautiful angle. You look in there, and the areas that are important are sharp. The front chick is perfectly sharp. Again, you can see the pupil in the eye there. You zoom across to the other bird. That area around the beak and the fish is all, or whatever it's handing to eat, is sharp. Again, it's low level, taken really well. I think it deserves silver with distinction.
All right, thanks, Chris. Now, Craig, you saw this quite differently.
I did. I'm at 72. I'm listening to what you guys are saying, but I think it's going to take quite some convincing for me to move. Look, I think the moment here is absolutely fantastic, and the photographer has got down really low. They've seen this beautiful backlit, the bokeh, everything within the frame compositionally is all excellent, but there are just too many technical issues that let this down for me to see this in an awards range, unfortunately. The bird with the fish is blurry. Most of the other birds are blurry. There's some really severe chromatic aberration, especially noticeable on the beak against the highlights there, which the highlights on the babies and then the chest are really clipped. And I think the color balance is really cold. And I would love this to have the warmth that sings of this backlit scene. So for me, the moment is absolutely spot on. I would absolutely love to encourage this photographer to keep seeing these things and get those technicals bang on as well.
All right, thanks, Craig. Joe, in your role as the middle scorer.
Yeah. I also see what Craig is saying. The chromatic aberration and blown out highlights are quite, and especially adds to that feeling of coolness in the image. Could there be a little bit more sharpness? Yes, but I think that this image is acceptably sharp. I did give this a silver for that interaction that you're seeing here. I think it's a beautiful moment. I love, love, love the reflection in the eye of the one that their babies are sitting on. That's just beautiful. That eye really gives something to me. But if we could just reframe over to the left, because having that neck cut into it just makes me feel like it's a sock puppet or it's decapitated or something. And there's nothing of real importance on the right hand side. In fact, that fluffy tail that's lit by the light is just drawing your eye away from where all that magic is happening. So those are my issues, but I gave it a strong silver because I really think it's a good image. I'm just not quite convinced that there is an issue enough for it to go up into that next level, but yeah.
Thanks, Joe. And Chris, back to you.
Yeah, look, I hear what you're saying, Craig, with the issues around the two little babies and up onto the beak. I suppose I looked past that because of the moment and what the photographers actually captured. I don't mind the cropping so much. Yeah, it would have been nice to see a little bit more on the left, but on the right hand side, I think if you'd cropped that white area off, it would have, I suppose, yeah, it would have detracted from the image. So I don't mind the cropping too much. You know, you've got a beautiful background. The birds are separated. I think the photographer needs to be deserved, but yeah, let's see what we can do.
All right, thanks, Chris. Chris is going to leave his score at 87. Other judges, rescore now, please. And we say 81, a silver award. Excellent work for the entrant. Congratulations on your silver. Now, Tracy's going to have a little break, and we're going to bring Anne back to the panel. So we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Fight for the Worm, and the context, bar-tailed godwit and silver gull, Albany, Western Australia.
All right, we have a score of 79, a highly commended. And I think I'm going to push Simon into this one. Simon's on 89. He's hit the challenge button. He's keen. There's no pushing required. Simon, the challenge is all yours. Take it away.
I think this is a cracking image, guys. You know, it's a low angle. I mean, if I was in that situation, you would have had the bird feeding, and you've been saying, "Come on, fly towards me, pick that up, fly towards me," and that's exactly what it's done. It's captured. It's sharp. You've got the drama. You've got the gull coming up behind it. That works for me. I've been happy to have taken that.
It's a pretty good compliment. Let's go to Chris Halliwell, who was in the highly commended range.
Yeah, I was at the other end at 77, and I agree. The action on that front bird is beautiful and spot on. I'm really struggling with the gull in the background, and especially with the beak crossing across and cutting across basically the face and the eye. That's really, I suppose, what's drawing me back at the moment.
Thanks, Chris. Anne, you were kind of in the middle of the judging pack here.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, the narrative here is exceptional, and the point of view is brilliant as well too. What held me back is similar to what has already been mentioned, just that beak across the gull's face. But this really spoke to me. I'm listening.
Thanks, Anne. Simon, back to you.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. That chaos of the moment. You've got the gull looking at the food that the godwit's got. It's going to try and force it to drop it. It's that chaotic moment which has been captured, and that's what wins it for me. That's a drama in an image.
Thanks, Simon. You're going to leave your score at 89. Everyone else, rescore now, please. And we've moved up to a very healthy 84 silver award, which is an excellent change for the entrance. So well done. Good challenge, Simon. Let's see, who are we bringing back? We're going to bring Charlotte back onto the panel, and we're going to give Craig a little break. If my mouse works. It's working. Fantastic. Let's have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this one's titled The One That Got Away, or Did It? And the context, Egret, Mandurah, Western Australia.
We've got an 80 silver award, so congratulations to the entrant with 3 judges in that silver zone. Now, who can I go to for a comment? I'm going to go to Charlotte for a comment on this one, please.
Hey, congratulations on the silver on this one. I think this is a really great moment. It's got a bit of a comedy timing in it as well, with that little fish kind of just heading out of the frame there. It's a really lovely, simple image, and it allows you to really focus on the subjects and really enjoy some of the detail in the feathers with the bird, and really enjoy those splashes. I think to take it a little bit higher, I'd like to see the composition changed a little bit. I feel like it needs a little bit more space horizontally on either side. It feels a little cramped on the left and the right-hand side. And I would also like to see a little bit more detail in the whites of the feathers as well.
All right, thanks, Charlotte. Let's do a little quick judge change. Joe Howell, you've been on for a little while, so you can have a short break. And let's bring Tracy back on. Next image, please, Mel.
Okay, this image is titled Heirs to the Ice, and its context statement, a creche of emperor penguin chicks, Snow Hill, Antarctica.
We have an initial score of 79, highly commended. Anytime a judge is in gold, though, they're pretty keen. Simon's sitting on 91. So, Simon, take it away.
Oh, it's always me, isn't it? This looks like a still from a Disney movie to me. And for once, I actually like the title of the image. I think it works perfectly. You've got it tells you where they are. You've got the adults behind it. They're perfectly sharp. They could have almost been posed if you'd got little rubber ones and gone and sat them in there. That's the order I would have put them in. For me, it's just a cracking image.
Excellent. Thank you, Simon. Let's go to Anne. Anne, you were down the other end in the highly commended range.
Yeah, I was. They are adorable. What's not to love? On my screen, I zoomed in. I was a bit unsure whether that very big penguin at the back on the right-hand side, whether his eye had achieved the same sharpness as the other penguins in the foreground and the guy on the left. But I guess what held me back was, as much as anything, story. It's a great photo. It's an interesting environmental portrait of these 3 penguins, but I think I would like to see more, or try and understand more about, why the photographer took the photo, apart from cuteness, and what's happening in their environment.
Thanks, Anne. Tracy, you were just sneaking into the silver range for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely got the cuteness. I definitely went, oh, when I saw it. That's the cuteness factor we all love. I love the storytelling. For me, there's just on the right hand edge on the bottom, just as the snow finishes going to the pen, there's a bright white line very close to the edge of the frame, which keeps drawing my eyes away. I don't know whether it's maybe another penguin just off to the right hand side. So maybe just a little tighter cropping would help to eliminate that little distraction there. I feel the colours have been handled well. Yeah, I'm listening.
Thank you, Tracy. Simon, let's come back to you to wrap up.
Thank you. I think that's a lovely image. I think you're just desperately looking for faults on this. I think for me, it's just beautiful. And it's so unusual to have that sort of ice structure in the background there as well. I think it's fabulous. I think you should stick more points on it for sure.
All right, Simon's asking you to stick some more points on it. Simon's going to leave his score where it is. Everyone else, you can rescore now, please. And we've moved up into the silver range on 82. So we have moved an excellent amount. So congratulations to the entrant. For the record, we do not encourage people to set up rubber penguins and take photos of them for the bird category. I just want to say that in case anyone was getting really excited. So with that out of the way, let's bring Craig Turner Bullock back onto the panel and give Chris a little break, and we'll have our next image, please.
Hey, this image is titled Toss of Survival, and its context, Rainbow Bee Eater, Perth, Australia.
We have an initial score of 86 silver with distinction, and Craig shot his hand up on 92 in gold. All yours, Craig.
Oh man, come on. This could not be a more perfect moment if you tried. The dragonfly is so perfectly placed, ready to go into that big, gigantic pink mouth. The composition, the focus fall off, all that negative space, color palette, those muted tones. I think this is really fantastic, and I would really strongly encourage my fellow judges to join me in gold.
All right, thanks, Craig. We're going to come to Anne next on 82, which is a strong silver.
Yeah, I hovered on my scores, and then I hovered on the detail in the Rainbow Bee Eater's feathers. Look, there could be better detail through the feathers. I'm just going to be really honest, and that is what is holding me back. I agree with you. The positioning of that dragonfly is outstanding. The beautiful red mouth is brilliant. What held me back is simply the detail through the feathers on the breast.
All right, thanks, Anne. Who are we going to go to? I'm going to go to Tracy for a comment, please. Tracy, you are in the silver range as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shot I've been trying to take over the many years and just not timed it right. So I commend the photographer to getting that timing correct. For me, what I'm finding really distracting, there's just an unusual grey line going across the entire branch above and below, which is just completely keeps distracting me going back to away from the bird itself. I don't know what it is. When you zoom in, you can sort of see it, but when you zoom out, it's also there as well. And I just find the background, especially the bottom of the background, it's just a little bit grey. I would have liked to seen a bit more colour. Because the top half of the image is so beautiful in the background colour, but below, just like a little bit more punch. But I am listening.
Thanks, Tracy. Craig, back to you.
Okay, so I would like to draw your attention to how little effort this bird seems to be making to have captured this very fast moving insect out of the sky and then perfectly tossed it to send it straight down its gullet. Look, this is a fantastic moment. It has a great concept. It has immediate impact. I see detail in those feathers, and I think that the palette on the bird itself is really beautiful. Look, Tracy, I do see those grey lines. I'm not going to argue with you about that one. I don't think it distracts me from what's going on in the upper part of this image. So I think that this would be well worthy of rewarding with the gold.
Thanks, Craig. Craig's going to stay on 92. All other judges, please rescore now. And we've stayed put on silver with distinction, which is, it is still an excellent result. So congratulations to the entrant. Now let's give Simon a little break, and who we're bringing back on? Joe Howell, you're back on, and we'll go to our next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled I Was Here First, and its context, blue and green Tangiers, Colombia.
We have an 89, a silver with distinction, with all of our judges scoring this fairly highly. We have 2 judges in the 90 range, and Craig is pretty fast on that challenge button, Tracy. If you want to race him, you've got hard work to do. Craig, take it away.
Wow, this has massive impact. As soon as this image came around, I'm really excited to be on the panel for this one because this is one that stood out to me in the run through. And when I look at this closer and zoom into those birds, I am not disappointed. There's so much detail and so much texture. The color is absolutely gorgeous. The raindrops in this just add a little bit of atmosphere to the image. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone on this one. And let's get this into the gold range. We're at 89 already. That's only 1 more point.
Thank you, Craig. Joe, you were part of the trio of judges on 87.
Yeah, this turned around and I immediately wanted to love everything in this image, and I'm not quite convinced yet, Craig. I need a little bit more. I'm finding that the flower that the bird's sitting on, I love the shape. I love how it repeats the pattern in the wings, but it takes up so much real estate in the frame, and I find it's a bit hot. It overpowers these beautiful little birds that are having their little squabble moment, discussion, whatever they're doing on that right hand petal there. And also that you've got this very bright hot flower on the left that takes up almost exactly half of the frame, and then on the left of that, left hand side of the image, it really, if that had just had a little bit of burning in to bring it down so that it matched the darkness on the other side, I think it would help hide some of that hotness in the flower. But that's where I'm really stuck with this. I want to love those birds. They're not the hero of the image to me at this stage, but convince me, please.
Thanks, Joe. Tracy, you were in support of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the flower. I think it helps build the scene. It helps set the image. It has the leading line of that leaf coming out for the bird sitting on. So I quite like the size of the flower within the image. It doesn't take away from the birds itself. And then when you look at the birds, the depth of field that's been used, every little bit of those birds are in detail and they're beautiful. The color has been handled really well. The lighting has been handled well. And yeah, I just think the photographer has done amazingly well. A lot of people would maybe crop try and tight a crop and this, that, and the other. But I just think that that plant, the flower, really just does help set the scene. I don't think it does overpower the image, those birds and the action between the two of them, and the title just goes with the image as well. But I'll leave Craig to finish.
All right, thanks, Tracy. Craig, back to you.
Okay, Joe, I'm going to use your words against you. You said real estate on this flower. That is exactly what this is. That is the real estate that these birds are fighting for, and the title echoes that sentiment as well. So I think that the inclusion of this full plant, which these birds are fighting over for food, is important in the context of this image. The left-hand side, look, it is brighter. It doesn't bother me at all, because for me, the birds are framed beautifully by that flower. And I think if you crop anywhere through the flower, that would make it even more awkward. For those of you who love peridolia, is that what it's called? Peridolia? The actual flower itself looks like a massive gaping beak that's about to swallow these two too, which I really loved as well. So for me, this is an easy gold, and I wish you guys can see what the things I see in this, and you come up that extra one lowly point.
All right, thanks, Craig. We have 2 judges on 92. We only need 1 more judge to get into gold to make that happen. So, Craig, you're going to lock your score. Everyone else, please rescore now. We have a 91, a gold award. Fantastic work. You got your way, Craig. So that's excellent. And I know the entrant is excited about that. And as they should be, a gold is a pretty spectacular result. And you can have a little break, and we're going to bring Chris back to the panel, and we'll have our next image, please, Mel.
Okay, the title of this image is Me First, and the context, the fairy tern is feeding the young chicks at a beach in Western Australia.
And we have an 80, a silver award, with 3 judges in that 80 range. So congratulations to the entrant. I'm going to go to Chris Halliwell for a comment on this one, please.
Yeah, I scored it bang on the 80. Look, I love the connection between the bird flying in, the 2 birds with their mouth open, waiting for the food, and obviously you've got a fish there. What held me back was really just I suppose, the out of focus parts at the front of the image. It's a little messy. There's a couple of branches that go over the chicks that are on there. And I think, yeah, that's what really held me back from taking this higher.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Let's do a little judge change. So, Charlotte, you've been on for a while. Let's give you a break. And Simon, you're back on. Let's go to our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Double Rainbow, and the context, rainbow bee eaters in Gonorrong, Victoria, Australia.
We have an initial score of 84, a silver award, and with 1 judge in the 90s, I am going to push them into it. Simon, you're on the 90s, you're in a gold. This is a gold image to you. Explain your goldness to everyone else in a challenge.
I think it's a beautiful image as it's a standalone. You've got the nice diagonal, you've got the symmetry of the birds, you've got the fabulous color. It's super sharp, and to me, they look like they're on sentry duty. They're both on the top branch of the tree, looking out each way for food coming. It just tells a story to me.
All right, thanks, Simon. Let's go to Joe. Joe, you snuck this into silver.
Yeah, and when this turned around, I really wanted to go higher. I've given it silver for the strong posing, and the great sort of mirrored posing of the birds. However, there's just some techniques that have been used in it that I think have been a bit heavy-handed. The background blur, it's I feel like it's a bit artificial looking, and there's some masking issues and some artifacting around, particularly the perch that they're on. And I'm finding when I look into the feathers and the perch that there's, I think, some issues that have been created through use of sharpening or noise reduction. And I find the overall tone is a bit cool, but I do love the pose and the subject itself. So I'm listening.
Thanks, Joe. Craig, you were in support of this image.
Yeah, I'm at 87 for all of the reasons that you're at 90, Simon. I think that the diagonal is fantastic. I love the detail and sharpness. I don't think it would take much for me to give it a couple of extra points, to be honest. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Craig. Like, I might go to one more judge. Let's go to Chris Helliwell, just so that our challenger has a few more things to talk about. Chris.
Yeah, look, I don't think I've got too much more to add, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, in that case, Simon, back to you.
Well, I think the fact that nobody's got too much to add to it just tells a story in itself. I mean, I think what we're missing here is that, I think that there is a sense of drama there, although the two birds are just perched on a stick. There is a sense of drama there too, to me, and I love it. I think it's really cool. Be happy to have that on the wall.
All right, thanks, Simon. Simon's asking for a 90 to get this into gold. Simon, you're going to keep your score where it is. Everyone else, please rescore now. And we've moved up to a silver with distinction. Those are two really important points to get it from an 84 to an 86. So good work, Simon, and good work, team. Now, let's do a little judge change again. Tracy, you can have a short break, and we're going to bring Anne back to the panel, please. And when you're ready, Mel, we'll go to our next image.
This image is titled Harvesting the Sea. In our context, a brown noddy harvests seaweed for its nest, Lord Howe Island.
Score, please, Anne. And we have a 78, a highly commended. I'm going to come to Craig for a comment on that one, please.
Yeah, I think this image has fantastic impact. I love that brightly colored seaweed against the cool tones in the sea, and the wave kind of in the background leading you to the bird. I think really just unfortunately for me, the focus has landed in front of the bird, of the eye, and it's on the edge of the wing there. If there was just that detail and texture and definition in the feathers and the eye, then this could have gone a lot higher, I think.
All right, thank you, Craig. We're going to give you a break, Craig. And again, not because of anything you said, I promise. And Charlotte, you're back on the panel, and we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image, I hope you brought home some supper. And the context, buff-tailed coronets, Colombia.
We have an initial score of 87, silver with distinction. We have 2 judges in the gold range. I'm going to throw it to Chris Helliwell for a challenge on this one. He's only 1 point above, and you've got some support, Chris.
Yeah, look, I think this is just a beautiful image. First of all, you've got, I suppose, action that's being captured. You've got both subjects, wings out. Look, they are flying at very high speeds. The bodies of both those subjects are as sharp as sharp as sharp. Like you could not get any sharper than if you tried. It's just beautiful. You've got the subject on the left with its beak just ever so slightly open, approaching. Look, it's stunning from my perspective. The background mirrors the colors of the subjects with the greens. There's also some lights, which you're getting the lights in the subject as well. You've got the leading line coming in from the left of the perch. I can't see how. Yeah, it's a beautiful image, and that's why I scored it 91.
All right, thanks, Chris. Joe, you were in the silver range on this one.
Yeah, and I'm listening because I might have been a little bit harsh on this one. It's the colors on the birds are beautiful, and as you were talking about the detail that's through those feathers, particularly on the bird that's on the perch, is great. Where I struggled is the bird who's flying in. I feel like it's quite cramped at the top of the frame, and you've got all this empty space down the bottom. So there's a bit of an issue with framing for me personally. The saturation on the left of the frame is really beautifully matched to the subjects. However, on the right of the frame, it just sort of goes into very muted tones, which I struggle to sort of marry those two, and it feels a bit unbalanced. And where I had a bit more issue was once again with the technicals around masking layers. The wing tips, if you're looking at it at 100%, they really start to become quite pixelated and fall apart when you're looking at where they sort of the out of focus parts meet the background, and there's some haloing around the beak and the tail, and I would have been right up there in gold if there had been if those if that masking had been done a little better. But I'm listening because I really want to love this one.
Thank you, Joe. We will now go to. I'm going to hear from Charlotte, actually.
Actually don't have too much more to add from what's already been said. I'm at 86. I think this is stunning. The only thing that's really holding me back is the quality issues around the edges of the wings of that bird flying in.
Okay. Chris Helliwell, back to you.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not hearing a lot of negatives. I don't mind the quality issues on that wing. Look, they are moving exceptionally fast. I think you've got some combinations of depth of field and also shutter speeds to capture them perfectly. There's to me, I think it's also a little bit of movement ever so slightly in there, which is helping cause that. The dark area on the sort of the bottom right hand side, I'm not too worried about. It's sort of mirrored with a little bit of the dark area at the top, middle to left. Look, it's an exceptional image. And what are we on? We're on 87. We're only asking for a couple more points. I think there's already 2 of us on 90s. Let's give it a gold.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. You're going to keep your score at 91. Everyone else rescore now, please. And you have your way, 90 gold award. Congratulations, team, and excellent work to the entrant for your gold award. That's spectacular. Let's give Joe Howell a little break. And Tracy, you're back on the panel. And Mel Sinclair, next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Cuddle Up, And the context, white-breasted wood swallow, Pine Creek, Northern Territory.
And we have a 76, a highly commended. So congratulations to the entrant. However, Charlotte is on 81. She's in the silver range and she's seen something more. So Charlotte, take it away.
Oh, I just had to challenge this one. This is just, I just want to be amongst all the cuddling that's happening here. It's just so adorable. I think there's a lot to love about this image. There's a lot going on, and the more that I look at it, the more I see little stories playing out amongst these birds. I love the bird over on the left that's all by themselves looking out of frame as if they're kind of embarrassed by what's going on. I love the intensity of the cuddle in the center of the frame. There's lots of leading lines that take you around to different areas of the image. I think this really deserves a silver, and I would love to hear what you guys had to say about it.
Thanks, Charlotte. Let's hear from Chris Helliwell first.
Yeah, I'm at the other end on 73. For me, there's just too much going on in this image. Like, I'm not drawn to one particular area. There's just, and I get the cuddliness of it, but there's all these lines and crisscrossings of subjects and trees and yeah, it's just like chaos, and my eye just doesn't find anywhere to focus on. I think also that a lot of the subjects are a little soft, and I would have loved to have seen more detail in their feathers as well.
Thank you,
But I'm
Chris.
listening.
Let's go to, I'm going to go to Anne. Anne, you're pretty close to the average.
Charlotte, my heart is with you, but my brain is struggling to get past just the sharpness in general of the, particularly the little birds on the lower limb, and the word chaos is probably a great word. But I'm listening. I am listening, and thank you for challenging it. It's the cuddliness factor is enormous here.
Thanks, Anne. Charlotte, back to you.
So the same reason that I love it is the reason that you're not a fan, Chris. I think that's quite funny. I'm usually a person that loves simplicity in images, and this is the exact opposite of that. And that is the number one reason why I think this is so successful. It really gives you an insight into the life of these little birds. Like, this isn't something that all birds do. And I think that's a really interesting kind of little viewpoint into their world. Yes, all of the subjects aren't completely sharp. I think it would be very difficult to obtain that kind of level of sharpness across all of them. But I think there's enough going on there that it's really not mattering too much to me. So I would love to see you guys come up. We can sneak it into silver. That would be really awesome. I think that the photographer really deserves some recognition for this image.
Thank you, Charlotte. You're going to lock your score at 81, and the other 4 judges, rescore now, please. And we've moved up 1 point to a mid-range highly commended, which is an excellent result. So congratulations to the entrant, and really good discussion, everyone. Chris, you're going to have a little break, and let's bring Joe back to the panel, please. And we'll have our next image.
Okay, the title of this image is Emperor Penguin, and our context, Emperor Penguin in South Georgia protecting its prized possession.
With an initial score of 79, highly commended. We do have two judges quite a bit higher than that, with Anne in the gold range. And Anne, anytime you put a 9 in front of your score, it must be challenge worthy, right?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's a stunning image. The impact is immediate, but what strikes the most striking thing about it is the emotional connection. This emperor penguin leaning forward, um, tenderly tending to its egg. It's impressive that the photographer has got so much of the egg showing as well. The detail in the eye and the extraordinary detail through the feathers. I would love to hear what my other judges have to say about it.
Thanks, Anne. We're going to go to, who are we going to go to? Let's go to Simon on the other end. Simon, you have this in highly commended.
Yeah, for me, there's a bit of movement on the bird's head. This is a shot we've seen. It gets shot an awful lot of times with the emperor penguin. Moving its egg around. So it's been done 1,000 times. I would have liked seeing the photographer a little bit lower, a lower angle on this. And the head movement to me just distracts it. But a spectacular looking bird. But
Thanks, Simon. I'm going to go to Charlotte. Charlotte, you were pretty supportive of this image.
Yeah, so I gave it an 86, which is silver with distinction. So again, I really enjoyed the moment of this. I think it's a really interesting insight into the world of the emperor penguin. What I really enjoyed about this though is the color harmony. I feel that the colors present in the bird are picked up in the surroundings. So those bluey slate grays, and then the slightly warmer tones in the stones around the bird are sort of reflected in the feathers, and just the clarity of the feathers, especially in that top curve, are just really, really gorgeous. So I think this definitely deserves what I gave it, and I'm still interested to hear about how I can go higher with this one.
Thanks, Charlotte. Joe, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I feel like the focus has fallen in front of the bird and isn't quite, wrapping around the entire subject. If that had been the case, I could definitely see that lifting up a little bit further. But yeah, I just feel like the focus has not quite hit the subject where it needs to hit.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Joe. And back to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Focus seems to be an issue on my screen. Enjoying it both zoomed in and zoomed out. I don't have a problem with the sharpness or focus on the face. I think the photographer has done a great job in capturing detail there and sharpness. And the comment about we've seen this before, we've seen this a lot of times. To be candid with you, don't get to see this type of image very often. And so I would argue that for me, for someone who's not familiar with this particular bird, and I look at a lot of birds, for it to have impact, I think does speak highly to the image. In fact, I know it speaks highly to the image. So I would encourage you all, 79, we're in highly commended. I'm on gold, but even if you guys all could come up a few more points, I think this image could confidently sit in silver. So yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Anne. And you're going to leave your score at 90. Everyone else, please rescore. And we've moved to an 82, a silver award. You got your way. Fantastic. Congratulations, team. Very good work. We're going to give Simon a break and bring Craig back onto the panel, please. And Mel Sinclair will have our next image.
Okay, the title of this image is Aerial Heist, and the context, Red-Footed Booby, Christmas Island.
We have a score of 81, a silver award. So well done to the entrant. Silver is an excellent result. Craig, I'm going to come to you for a comment, please.
I think the impact of this is great. Like the high key presentation is quite unique. I really enjoy that. And actually, I think the title's great too, with giving us everything that we see in the images is summed up in the title. What just lets it down for me is just the definition in the main bird there swooping in. There's not a lot of clarity and detail in that head and face at all. So just a bit more sharpness there, and I think this could have gone even higher. But yeah, initial impact on this is excellent.
All right, thank you, Craig. Joe Howell, let's give you a break, and we're going to let's bring Chris back onto the panel, and we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Ethereal Egret, and the context, Great Egret, Albany, Western Australia.
We have an 83, a silver award. We've got 2 judges in silver with distinction. I think this is worth a conversation, you guys. So does Craig, who's put his hand up on 88.
Well, I think the title does all the hard work, really. I don't think you need to say much more than that. This is such a fantastic ethereal image. It's a beautiful use of negative space. The tones and the softness are amazing, and the outstretched wings on the bird and the light just hitting the face are really beautiful. So I think we could sneak this into the distinction range.
All right, thanks, Craig. Chris Helliwell, you were in the highly commended range for this.
Yeah, I was at the other end on 77, and when I first saw this image, I really wanted to, I suppose, love it a little bit more. I suppose what's letting it down for me when I zoom in, there's really not a lot that's actually sharp on the bird itself. That white band in the background that's actually quite bright and runs right the way through the body of the bird. The space and the cropping for me, it just, yeah, I suppose what you're finding and you like there, Craig's that space I don't like, and it's drawing my attention away from the subject being so small in the frame. I do like the positioning of the wings though, and the tips of those wings just curling up. I think the photographer's captured a moment really well, but it lacks, I suppose, detail, sharpness, and from my perspective.
Thank you, Chris. Where shall I go for a comment? I'm going to go to, you know what? I'm going to go to Tracy. Tracy, you were in support of this image.
Yeah, I'm up there with Craig. I just find a sense of peacefulness with this image. It's it's a simple but impactful image. I like the white band that's just taking you into where the bird is sitting or standing, sorry. The detail that those wings spread, you can feel the breeze. And yeah, I just love the high key simplicity, and I just get a sense of, yeah, I could see this on a wall and it's very peaceful, and yeah. So I'll leave Craig to sell it.
All right, Craig, it's selling time.
I'm going to sell it. Yeah, I guess not everybody is as much of a fan of negative space, but I think if you look at this as a negative space image, it's done as well as any negative space image I've seen. The white band, it's a misty morning, and that's just what happens in these locations in the early morning. I actually find that both of those white lines coming towards a bird act almost like leading lines to draw me to the subject. As for being drawn away, I don't there's nothing to draw you away. The bird is the only thing of interest in this frame. I hovered on 98 on this one, and I brought it back 10 points because of the lack of detail in the bird. However, I do believe it's sharp, and I do think that the lack of clarity is an atmospheric condition. It's a misty morning. So I gave that some forgiveness. And I think, you know, if you didn't have that mist, then you wouldn't have the atmosphere that this image had, and it wouldn't be as successful. But on the other hand, having the mist has left a lack of clarity that has meant that I haven't gone up into gold. So I think as a whole, as an image of a bird, as an image that could be used as a piece of art, I think this is highly successful. And I think it demonstrates a very high concept and execution, and that is where we are told to place our scores in the silver distinction range. So come up with me. We just need, well, 2 more points, but a few more than that. Every point counts for this entrant.
Yes, indeed. Craig, you're going to hold your score at 88. Everyone else rescore now, please. And we have an 86, silver with distinction. So we got your wish. We now have 4 judges in that scoring range, which is a really good outcome. So let's move some judges around. We're going to take Anne off, and we're going to bring Simon back on for our next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Penguins on a Wave, and its context, chinstrap penguins, Antarctica.
Sorry, guys, I've got 6 judges. I've made a mistake. Anne, I failed to take you off the panel. Let's try a bit harder to click. So just to check, we have Charlotte, Chris, Craig, Simon, and Tracy. And we have an 80, a silver award. And we've got Simon up on 88 in the silver with distinction range. Simon, are you going to take this challenge? I hope you are.
Yeah, it's just an unusual, unique picture. It is like there's movement to it. The negative was it's just a little bit too tight on the bottom left hand side, but I love the fact that it just looks like a wave. You've got movement, and I love the penguin on the far left hand side looking behind it like there's a wave coming towards it. I thought it was a really cool image.
All right, thanks, Simon. Let's go to Tracy. Tracy, you were on the other end of the scale.
Yeah, I was down at 74. Yeah, I love the concept of the image, what the photographer's trying to, the storyline, the title fits with the image itself. Love the pillar box aspect. For me, overall, the entire image for me is just soft. And especially on the penguins themselves, there's no crisp detail or focus on there. And I just find them just too tight to the bottom of that frame. I would like to have seen them a little bit higher. Color aspect, lighting, again, yeah, has been handled really well, but for me it's just the lack of sharpness throughout the entire image is why I've put it where I have.
Thanks, Tracy. Craig, you were on 81, just into silver.
Yeah, and this is another one that I hovered over 98 on, and then I did my 100% look, and I discovered what Tracy's already said. I love the pano, I love the colors, I really love how tight the birds are to the bottom of the frame, like they're about to just begin this journey up the crest of the wave. Yeah, it's just the image is lacking in sharpness for me.
Thank you, Craig. And Simon, back to you.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, guys, but it's still such a unique image. It just it just the whole thing flows for me. And yeah, they're not as distinct as they perhaps they could be, but I'm overlooking that.
All right, thank you, Simon. You're going to stick on 88, and other judges, please rescore. And we've moved 1 point up to a stronger silver, 81. Congratulations to the entrant. And congratulations to all of our judges and all of our people at home, because that was our last image in the birds category. So fabulous set of images tonight, and really impassioned pleas from our judges as well. So I hope you've really enjoyed the judging. Now, we have so many more categories to come in Australian Photographic Prize. We're not even on that halfway mark yet. We've got aerial coming up on Friday night, natural landscape and underwater on Saturday, creative landscape and travel on Sunday. So, and then we have more after that. It's crazy. 25 categories is a lot. So hopefully you'll be tuning in for some more. If you had images in tonight, congratulations on getting into the top 30. And we hope you've enjoyed all of this. Now, remember, to find out who wins this category, the only way you're going to find out, even the judges don't know, you have to come to the awards ceremony, which is on the 13th of August, where we'll reveal all of our category winners and our division and overall winners as well. Now, I must thank a couple of people. We have Nathan Bingham, our broadcast coordinator, who's been working hard tonight to keep everything running smoothly, as has Daniel Bingham behind the scenes. Mel Sinclair has had some challenging things to read out as a scribe as well. Thank you, Mel. It's a really hard job, and you've done excellent. And also to our judging panel, thank you so much, everyone. You have so much knowledge. The collective knowledge in this panel is massive, and I know everyone appreciates the feedback. So thank you to Anne, Charlotte, Chris, Craig, Joe, Simon, and Tracy. You've done such hard work tonight. We really appreciate it. My name's Chris Anderson. I will hopefully see you at another Australian Photographic Prize judging soon. Have a great night.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.